Hello everybody, my name is Ludwig and welcome to my Arknights 2025 overview. In this video I will be going over all the features and menus to help you get started on your journey in Arknights. So, before we get started, I want to go over a few things. In the description below will be chapters. These chapters, feel free to swap around and go to whatever section that interests you, as this video might be pretty long, so we'll see. Second, there will be links in the description below for any resources that I typically use, like wikis and any other miscellaneous link I can think of that will help just for information or any other sort of type of useful game related link, basically. The first will probably be the arknightswiki.gg, which I use a lot because it's very useful. The second will probably be Aceship, which is kind of like another type of wiki, but it's a little different. They're both very useful, so check those out if you'd like. They will be in the description below. So let's get started. So you've done the tutorial and now you are on the main screen. So now what does half of any of this mean? Now they do explain some of it, but I'm going to go over all the menus and features, and I might demonstrate some of the gameplay as well. So let's just get started. At the very top here, this blue currency, my cursor should be showing. The blue currency is LMD. LMD is your general currency. This is your basically like gold in other games. You're going to use LMD to buy everything. Items, you're going to use LMD to unlock upgrades and level people up. You're not really going to buy items with it. Well, I guess you can, but I think, but either way, LMD is your generalist currency. You're going to always need it, and you're probably not going to have enough of it eventually over time. The red currency next to it is a rundum. A rundum is your pool currency. You will pool for characters. As this is a gacha game, you will pool for your operators through the headhunting banners at the bottom right in recruitment, and you will use a rundum to do it. The red currency. You can get this for free in game. It's a weekly cap limit by doing a certain stage, and you can just accumulate this over time. You can also get it through other ways, through rewards through the missions or through the monthly pass as it showed up. And yeah, there are multiple ways, but this is basically your pool currency to pool for characters and how you're going to accumulate your operators over time. The gold currency is your Originite Prime. Originite Prime is like a pseudo freemium currency. You can get it for free by doing stages, but it's a one-time reward. So you do a stage once, you get one Originite Prime, and that's it, as long as you 3-star it. You only get one though, but so that's why it's sort of freemium. You can get it for free, but it's limited. And you can also just buy it. You can buy it outright, and this is how you buy skins, and you can also convert it into a rundums. If you click here, I can convert one Originite Prime into a rundum through a not very profitable exchange, but it is an option if you need it, and so it's there for you. And to get Originite Prime, you just need to go to the shop and you can buy it. You can also use Originite Prime, the gold currency, to restore your sanity. It will use one Originite Prime and it will restore a bunch of sanity. So that is another option. While we're on the topic of sanity, the sanity is your energy system. This is how you're going to be doing stages. So how are you going to collect LMD? How are you going to collect anything else? You need to do stages through the terminal, but sanity will replenish over time. You can also use potions, which will restore sanity, which have a duration, they have a date, and they'll expire if you do not use them in that time frame. You can get them this is from the monthly pass that I have bought. This is from just in the free rewards. So either way, sanity is your energy system. Stages cost a certain amount of sanity, and if you beat the stage, you use that much sanity and you get rewards for it, basically. It's a typical standard energy system, and yeah. So besides these, let me go over the left side here. You have your profile name and your ID. The eye icon here, you will have an assistant here. You can choose who you like. The eye icon allows you to just basically look at it without having the UI. And the circle icon here allows you to change their outfit as such. You can change the person as such to a different operator that you own, and any skins that you have. And You can adjust the position here. You can move them around as such if you see fit. You can change the background, which will also change the music playing in the background. So, and you can change the home UI screen for all of your menus here. And that is about it. Also, a nice feature, this home icon next to the arrow at the top, this will take you everywhere. You can just click this home icon instead of having to go back and go into each menu. You can just click this, and let's say I want to go to terminal. I just hit terminal, and then I go to terminal. Instead of having to multi-click out of this into terminal, I can just click it once. Just boom, into terminal or anything else, basically. So, it's a nice feature in general. I could just go to missions if I want here. Right, let's go over to the top left. The gear icon, this is your settings. The only thing I would recommend on the account tab to bind your account to some type of email to make sure you don't lose any progress. That is very important. The game settings are all here. The volume settings are all here. Notifications are here, and other stuff is here. And that is all for settings. The triangle with the exclamation mark is event notifications, basically. What is going on currently? It will always tell you new skins that are out. It will tell you new kernel or any other events or banners. The rerun event right now of Come Catastrophes or Wakes of Vultures rerun. Displayed operator, this is a rate up banner. Another, the event rerun rate up banner, and a skin. To the right, the systems, this is just system information about making sure you link your account so you don't lose access to all your progress. The news, there's nothing here, but it would be here if there was any. And that is all for the triangle with the exclamation mark. The inbox, sometimes they'll periodically send rewards such as maintenance. They'll send some rewards in through the mail, and you just hit collect all, and then or you can read it and then you can just delete it. So that's all the mail is, and sometimes you get other mail. Not very often, but sometimes. Next to that is the calendar. This is your daily login. I have the monthly card, so I get 200 rundums, and I get one of the smaller sanity potions. These potions here, right here, which will restore sanity. If you do not have the monthly card, it will not show up here. You will just have your daily supply. So you'll get whatever reward the daily supply says on those days. And that is about it for the daily login. You just log in daily and it will show up. Yeah. All right. Now let's go over the bottom. This is basically the same thing as what we saw in the triangle with the exclamation mark. It's the news. This is all your new skins, new banners, etc. That's all goes in breaking news. It's the same things that are typically in the triangle with the exclamation mark. The friends tab. This is your basically profile. If you're ever confused about anything, I'm going to say it. The eye icon at the very top, there's typically some type of icon near the home screen here. And those icons will basically explain all of the information in that section. So if you ever are confused, you can report back to this eye icon, and you will then be able to figure out whatever it is, hopefully, that you were looking for. So the friends tab, this is the profile tab. This is your profile. You can put different things here. It will tell you when you started. I have a theme, so I put it's gonna show that. I have this many outfits. I have this many operators hired. You can change your icon here, your profile picture basically, or avatar. You can put a description here. You can put a support unit, Babel. The metal set can go here, which you can then change based on whatever metals you have. The bottom right, the wrench icon allows you to basically customize everything. You can get rid of these components. All these are different components, or you can keep them. You can change your background theme. The default one, I believe, is these two. And then all of these came out relatively recently on global. All of these extra, these are paid ones, but yeah. This one you can technically get for free, but it does cost the gold currency, the Originite Primes. And that's really about it. It's just customization, but there's not much like socialization in Arknights. So then you have your friends. You can have about 100 of them. You can add people, they can add you, and anyone who adds you will show up here. Support units, you can choose. If you hit I here, it should just tell you. Guess not. Basically, you can put in this slot, you can't put 6 stars, you can only put 5 stars and below. This will, and the other 2 slots can be 6 stars or anything below. And this is just support units. So let's say somebody comes across your support unit and they use it, you would get some points basically for helping them out. But that's about it. Typically, it's not super important. It's just a nice little help here. And that's really about all for the Friends tab. Now, Archives. Archives, if you're confused, hit the eye icon at the very top. It will go over all the Archives information. In short, Network is your... After you collect characters over time, they'll all be a part of different factions. And then those different factions, you can then basically zoom in on that faction if you own the characters and then basically see what they're connected to. Such as the Followers. This is a faction, it's part of Neural, Shining, and Nightingale. Neural is related. Neural has an altar, which is Neural the Radiant Knight, which is the same character, but it's just a different version of the same character, basically. So one's a defender and one's a guard, so it's different. They have a completely different like abilities, and you can view them here, etc. Then they are related to... Neural is related to Wishlash and Blemishine, and then she's also related to Moinar here. So, and that is really about it. It's just a cool networking thing. Trust overview. After having so much trust with certain factions and certain characters, by trust you obtain just by playing the game. You use the character, and once you use the character, they'll gain trust after completing stages, and eventually over time you get max trust with them, which gives a little bit of stats and typically gives voice lines. And that's really about it. You'll get furniture thing that I typically don't really pay attention to, but you'll just get this over time, and yeah. And that's it for the network. For enemy, this is all your enemies that you faced. You can hit I as well. I is the same thing. So elite, leaders, any sort of thing will show up here. And you can just look through all the enemies you faced, see what kind of stats they have. And it's just a gallery and archive of enemies, basically. Training grounds. This is some of the mechanics that you can basically learn about how they work. As some of them aren't explained super well, but now we have this training here, and you can then look at each one. You'll get a small amount of random, and you can just do the stage, and it's just gonna demonstrate and showcase how something works, basically. And that's about it. Fashion gallery is skins, so you can sort by release or you can sort by brand, and these are always paid typically with Originite Prime. So the gold paid currency / freemium that you can get one time. You can buy skins, and here's all the skins, basically a list of every skin, and you can sort by brands, and you can just go by the brand, and they'll have a little description here, and you could just go through and look at whatever the skins are, etc. Yeah. As such, there's collabs sometimes, and yeah, that's really about all. Yeah. Alright. And that's all for skins. Or you can just go by release and just scroll all the way down by when they first came out, etc. Alright, intelligence. This is your archives for events. So you played through an event and you want to re-watch the story or reread the story. Well, this would be in the public affairs. This will show you can, as long as you've completed the stages through the event itself, as long as you've beaten the stages in the event, you can then rewatch the story here. You can just go into the archives, into public affairs, and just rewatch whatever story you feel like watching at the time. Arknights has a lot of good event stories. Babel was really, I liked Babel a lot. I don't typically read them though, because there's a lot. They have a lot of words because it's sort of this visual novel style format, and it's kind of like clicking through a static image and some minor background noise, basically. So if I do read an event, I typically just read it outside, externally from Arknights. Well, there's some websites you can use that just basically have the story and all the features, and you can just read it on your phone or something instead of having to just read it through here, I guess. Instead of having to basically click through on your phone every single story, which takes a lot longer than being able to just wipe through and scroll down and read the story that way, in my opinion at least. But they're still fine, and still, I do think the content in them is pretty good. But personally, I read them outside of Arknights itself. So, the newest event will show up on the very right from Public Affairs, which right now was Adventure That Cannot Wait for the Sun. Special Operations are your, basically, these are like mini events. So, Public Affairs are like, these are main events. Like, these sort of, they're usually bigger, and they take longer, and they're more like main events. These are like mini events, like interlude events. They are story based, but they're not as long, and they typically, they don't have as much going in the, what's the word? They don't have a lot. They're mini events. I'll put it that way. They are mini events. They're interludes in between events, basically. Even if they're like, they come out with a character, but in general, they're just not as long as the main events in the Public Affairs. So, at the top right, we have Record Restoration. So over time, you will collect let's say you first start, you will not have a bunch of these unlocked. You will need to collect their stories here. So every one of them have a certain amount of different stories with different characters. And to do that, if you hit the question mark here, it will tell you all the information here, and it will tell you information here. You need to collect the stories. So at 2 stories, you collect rewards. Typically, it's a welfare operator, which is a free operator at the time. And scroll down at level, once you've gotten 7 of them, you get a profile image. To unlock them, they will be grayed out. There will be a currency requirement at the bottom, and you have to, this is a free currency you can collect over time, and you will just spend 1 point to unlock, 1 point, 1 point, up to how many, and then you can just read the story. This currency you can just get for free during a lot of things, and it's always available in the store. So I'll go over it later, but don't worry, you'll collect these over time, and it's not too pressing. It's typically just a skin anyways, so. And welfares, well, some are pretty good. Most of them are kind of mediocre, so yeah. Alright. Alright. Next. But there are some nice things, but you can just collect this over time for free while you're just playing the game. It's a free currency that you can purchase, and then you can then spend it on each of these to unlock the stories and get the rewards later, basically. And that's it for archives for intelligence. Path to Glory is your medal sets. You can edit them and move them around. If you hit I, it will tell you all your information like before. The medal set collection is all your collection sets. So I have, it tells you when you completed it. This was the last main event. We had this one, and then we had Path to Life, Path of Life, Babel, etc. And these are just like fun. They have no reflection on gameplay at all. They don't do anything. They just look cool. That is basically all they are. Just cool looking medals for the events. The medal list will go over all your medals. You can go over different specific types of medals down here. You can go by cluster or list display, and yeah, you can just sort of do that. You can go by obtained, all, or unobtained. There's a lot of options, and that's really about it. So yeah, medal set collection. Medal sets always typically involve, of course, the event. So typically you'll play through the event like normal, and you'll unlock them sort of just naturally just by playing the event. There's always going to be usually a trim medal. The trim medal just means it looks cooler, and to trim it, it will have a requirement, and typically it's harder. Basically, it's harder to do, and then once you do that requirement, you trim the metal, which makes it look better, basically. Or supposedly, it just makes it look cooler. For events, you're always gonna have to probably do challenge stages and to get all the medals, but we'll go over that a little later when I go over the events. And that is about it for the archives. So, moving on from archives, we just went over medals. Let me go over the main characters or operators that you'll be using. Squads, you can build squads. You have 4 different slots, and you can just put people in it individually, like so. Or you can quick select people, which allows you to multi-select different people instead of having to click individually through each one. So, and you just have 4 different ones. You can rename them based on whatever you feel like, and that is about it. Now let's go over the actual operators. So on the right here, first you'll go to this. On the right, there's this top icon which says retrieve and job. This is classes. Each class is broken up into multiple different types. And you just click this, you can get rid of it or you can leave it. At the top here, this is a sort of special marking. So let's say I click this character. If I click this icon, the rook looking icon, it will then put him here in the front instead of being here. And that is sort of like, I guess, to keep track of them or organize them in a different way. Or you can get rid of it like so. And that is all for that. It will be here and it won't be. Alright, you can sort by level, the highest level, lowest level, rarity, highest rarity, lowest rarity. Paradox simulation, which is a different thing I'll cover a little later. With 3 dots next to it, allow you to switch, let's say, by acquisition date, trust, max HP, attack, defense. This is the same as the paradox at the top. Resistance, redeployment time, deployment cost, block, attack speed, etc. We'll just switch it back to paradox and leave it alone. And we'll leave it here. Now, let me go over, I guess let's just go over the main thing. So you'll have your characters here, and then you click on a character. So now you have a bunch more information. Now, as normal, the eye icon at the top will tell you all the information you could really need about it, though it is somewhat limited in the information it does say. Alright, in short, let's go over the left. The attributes, you can just click this and it will go out. Max HP, this is how many points they can take. This is their health. If they get to 0, they die. They get defeated. And then you have to wait for the redeployment time on the right. Redeployment time is how long it's going to take for them to be able to be deployed again after they have been defeated or you retreat them. Attack is how much attack they will do, which can be affected by skills. All of these can be affected by skills, so it depends on these things here will affect all this stuff basically, and other things as well. Attack is how much damage they do, defense is how much physical damage they can reduce, resistance is how much magical damage they can reduce, redeployment time, how long they take to deploy again, deployment cost, how much they take to first deploy them in the first place, block, how many enemies they can block, attack speed, how quickly they attack. And all of this can be affected by different skills and other external stage things, but that's the general gist. Trust, by using the character over time, you will build trust with them, and by winning stages. And then you can win stages, and over time you'll eventually get 200%, and that's max. It will unlock different voice lines, and you'll get like some stats. The stats are very minor, and the voice lines, it's just for flavor and for fun, basically. The name of the character is here, the amount of stars that they are is here. The class icon at the bottom left, this allows you to get a very vague idea of what the classes do, though it's extremely vague. So bottom left, the icon here next below their name, it tells you. So vanguards are classes that allow you to deploy operators more quickly. Guards deal high melee damage. Defenders, high HP and defense. Specialists have versatile ways to attack. Snipers do ranged physical damage. Casters do ranged magic damage. Medics heal operators. Supporters support. This is very vague, and there are multiple. Basically, every single main class has multiple branches underneath it. So a Vanguard, there are different types of Vanguards underneath the same Vanguard class. There are different types of guards, different types of defenders, different types of specialists, and so forth and so on. We'll go over that a little later, but in general, it's very vague because high melee damage could mean basically anything, from single target to AoE to anything else, basically. So, to the right of that is the range of that unit. So, when you place an operator, you will have a certain range that they will be effective at, which can be affected by skills. To the right of that is tags. Melee and DPS nuker basically just tell you a sort of very broad tag. It just says he's a melee character who is a ground unit that can do DPS, and he has nuker capabilities, which is high burst damage, basically. The rook icon here allows you to mark them as before, just like when I did it earlier. Now he'll appear, this gold border appears underneath him, and then he'll show up at the very left. And you can just do that. You don't actually have to go here. You can just go into the character and hit the rook icon. So let's go over this. This might be a little bit. At the first is the level. I have him maxed, so I can't do anything here. And then level, you will need records to upgrade people to then upgrade their level. You will need LMD and battle records, which you'll collect over time and through farming stages, or just as event rewards. And then that is how you're going to give them experience, which will then level them up. Promotion. Before you get, so they won't start out they won't have level 90. You first need to promote them. So I will show that now. Let's go through Jessica Liberty. So this is an example of a character that you have not done anything with really. You'll probably not have 200% trust, but I do because I already have Jessica. This is Jessica's altar, and Jessica originally was a sniper. So originally she started as a sniper, and then they introduced alternate characters. Alternate characters are the same character, except it's an alter. They have a different class and different abilities, but they're the same character basically. So it's Jessica here, and then it's Jessica here. They're both the same character, it's just that they're different classes. One's a defender and one's a sniper. So let's go over this. Here's a good example. So because I don't have her maxed, she's a 6-star. Every type, based on the star rating, will be a level. So I can get her to level 50, but I can only get the 5-star. I can also get the 5-star to level 50. So 50 is the general rule, I suppose. Actually 45 for the 4-star. So in general, you're gonna go here, you click level, and you use your records down here. You can hold it, you can long press, you can just hold the button and it'll go automatically use that item, or you can just scroll all the way up and you'll use so many, or you can just hit max 50 and it will use whatever resources you have to get them to that. It will use LMD records. These battle records you collect from farming. There are different ways. You can farm them through stages, you can get them as free rewards for dailies, and you can get them as rewards for events just for free. So once you upgrade somebody, so let's say I upgraded her, I upgraded her to 50. Well, now I can promote her. So she is E0. I have not Elite 1'd her. So E1ing is when you Elite 1 them, they go to Elite 1. E2 is Elite 2 when they go to Elite 2. So that you need to upgrade a character fully, you have to upgrade them one time to 50, or whatever level it says. And then you need to promote them once. Promotions will require LMD, chips you need to farm from stages, which I'll go over later, but you will obtain these by farming a specific stage, which will give you chips, which allow you to then promote operators, and some resources which you can collect in general through certain stages, or just getting them over time through events, etc. So you promoted her, and it'll tell you what you'll get at Elite 1. You can view what you would get. So now you promoted her, she's Elite 1. Once she's Elite 1, you then have to, this will go back to 0. So this will go back to 0, and then you need to upgrade her again. So you're at Elite 1 level 0, and then you need to upgrade her again, just like normal. This will be a higher level cap typically, and then she'll be at Elite 1 level, max level, and then you can promote her again. You'll see this exact same screen here, except it will say Elite 1 here, and it will say Elite 2 here, and it will show you all the details. And this will require more resources, and it's more expensive, and require more specialized chips, which are more, they're not rare, but they take a bit of time to get. And then you can Elite 2 them, and then they'll go back, so go back to level 0. So then they'll be Elite 2 level 0, and then you can level them up to 90, or whatever level they can go up to. For 6 stars, it's level 90. I don't know about the others completely off the top of my head. So you can level them, and then you can then do exactly what I did. You have now Elite 2 the operator. They'll be at level 0, and then you need to upgrade them all the way to level 90, and that's maxed. You don't, now, a disclaimer, you don't have to level people to 90. It's probably actually not a great idea. You can level them probably to 60 and they'll be fine. Level them to maybe 80 or less. 60 is a pretty good point, but the biggest reason is because of the cost. It is expensive. Let's just demonstrate real quickly. If I upgrade Narutuya, I have Narutuya. Okay, so here's a good example. Narutuya, I have her Elite 2. She is now promoted. I have done her promotions, leveled her up one time, and then promoted her to Elite 1, leveled her up to Elite 1 maxed, and then I promoted her again. Now, she's level 0, or level 1. If I take her immediately till 90, it will cost me, it will tell you exactly what stats you get as well. So you can look at the stats icon here. I will get this many stats just for going to level all the way to 90. I mean, it's not bad or anything, but it cost me 700 of these records here. It's going to cost me 19 of these. It's going to cost me 700,000 LMD. That's a lot. And let's say I go to 60. Where is 60? Let's see. 60, how much is that going to cost? Oh, wow. If I just go to 60, it still takes some of them, 188, 2 and 1, but it only takes 171,000. That's a lot more reasonable early game. I mean, look at the stats. She gets 722 attack, and at max she gets 765. Yes, you are losing some attack, but the resource gain and the resource cost from going to 60, or even, let's say, you could probably go to 70 and be fine. If you're early game, I highly recommend probably not investing in them super high, because going to 90, you're basically going to go broke. Like, there's no real point. You get some stats, and yes, there is a point later as they'll be more effective, but in the early game, you're going to be hurting for resources. So I would say just go to 60 maybe, or even maybe don't. Some operators are fine at Elite 1, so it depends on really what you want to do. Now, if you want to 90 them, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. I like doing it because I like just seeing the max number screen, but that's much cheaper. I mean, just look at this. 188 of these tactical battle records versus 712 of them. That's just alone. And then the LMD cost is 171,000 versus 700,000. That's a lot. All right, so, and that's just, yeah. So then once you promoted them and you've leveled them up based on whatever you want to do, promotions will take resources and specialized chips, which I'll go over a little later as well when I go over the base. Potentials are duplicate tokens, so over time, when you do headhuntings through the red currency of the Arundums, you may collect tokens. These will improve the potential of a character because you have to get a duplicate of the character, and you can then use it to increase their potentials. Everyone starts at potential 1, and you can get up to potential 6, basically. With DP cost -1, it will all have different effects. All these effects they'll tell you every single effect that will happen for each potential. And basically, you can just refer here and see what you're going to get. The potentials are not really that impactful. There's some characters it's very impactful on, and that's about it. But they're not really a huge priority unless you really want that character, which is fine. Yeah, they will tell you what they do. This one gives the second one will give DP cost -1. The third one improves his first talent. You can also use these other tokens. You may collect these over time as well. through the store, and you can basically, but you need 4. You need 4 of these tokens to equal 1 upgrade. It basically counts as 1 potential. It counts as basically having a duplicate of that character, but you need 4 of these tokens, which are pretty pricey. Alright. Now let's go over skills. This icon here is the skills. Rank 7 is the max. Let's go back to it. I have her rank 1. So you will need skill summaries. Like I said, you will need to do a certain stage, or over time you'll collect them. A certain stage will allow you to farm skill summaries, which allow you to upgrade skills. You upgrade skills by just clicking this button here, as such. And then it will require to level 2 to 3, it will require resources, as such, down here. And so forth and so on. Eventually, you will have to probably Elite 1 the character. There will be a level requirements. Later on, you probably won't be able to max the skill until you level them up to probably Elite, I think at least Elite 1. So you will need to promote them at least once, I believe, maybe twice, to level up their skills to 7. Level 7 is the max for default skills. For skills in general, level 7 is the max. The 3 icons here, you can click this and it will allow you to view it. The 3 icons here are the skills. You can read each different effect. And yeah, so a little bit about some of what this is. The 3 circles are masteries. So you've leveled the skills to 7, right? You've ranked them up 7 times. Okay, now you're basically maxed. But then you can go further. You can further at Elite 2. You have to first Elite 2 the operator second time. At Elite 2, you can then master the skill. Masteries require resources, and these resources are typically, it requires LMD and typically resources that are high level, so they're more expensive, but mastering a skill will make that skill more effective. It takes time, and you have to have like a trainer, but you basically just put somebody in the base, and you can then just master a skill after waiting so long. But they will increase the effectiveness of the skill. And I guess I'll go over some numbers real quick. All this text here. So first, underneath the skill will be this initial icon, typically. This means initial skill points. The green means how many skill points it requires to activate skill. So this means he starts with 15. So I place this character down, Waynar. He starts with 15 skill points initially. So that means I just need to get 30 to activate his skill. But I already start halfway done. So auto recovery down here means it will automatically, over time, after I place the character, he will automatically recover skill points. So that means it's like 1 per second. Sometimes it's changed, but that means I would just place him down and wait 15 seconds, and I can immediately use his skill. Immediately. Nice. And then I'd have to wait 30 seconds because the initial only applies for the first deployment. So, auto recovery means he will automatically recover this over time. You don't have to do anything. Manual trigger means you manually activate the skill. It lasts 30 seconds in the duration, and the bottom below that is the effect you gain. He deals more damage, attack is physical damage, and he gains defense. Sometimes they'll be different. Sometimes they'll say offense recovery or defense recovery. These mean different things. Offense recovery means the character has to attack. Defense recovery means the character needs to be attacked. So, but that's a little more nuanced. It's not too complicated in practice. Most skills are auto recovery, but some skills are they have a lot of text and they sound confusing at first, but they're not. In practice, they're not that confusing. You just have to look through each one and read through the skills and just see, or use the wikis and they'll have all the information for you, basically. So, below that, so we've gone over the class here, the broad, vague class description. And he is a guard. So he is a guard class that deals high melee damage. And he is specifically under this branch. The branch of guard. So he is a guard, a liberator guard. Since he's underneath the guard branch. Or underneath the guard class, and the branch is a liberator, so he's a liberator guard. Different branches have different effects, and that effect will be displayed in the trait. The trait is the effects of the branch, basically. Module, he does not have a module, so it would show up here, but he does not have one. So, trait, he will normally not attack and has 0 block. So I know he has 3 block here, but it says right here he does not have block and he does not attack. So that means when his skill is inactive. So that means when his skill is active, he does block enemies and he does attack. But when his skill is inactive, he doesn't do anything, basically. So it's a sort of like, you need to wait and he needs to charge up before he can deal a lot of burst damage. So it's a sort of a double-edged sword. You have to be careful because he won't actually attack or block enemies until his skill is active. And you need to wait 40 seconds to gain his increase in attack. And then below that is your talents. All different types have different traits and different effects, basically. Talents are basically flavor and theme. They usually try to fit around the theme of the character. So talents are passives, basically, that are extra effects, basically. So, and that's really all they are. Everybody has different talents, and talents will basically relay to the character in some way, and then you can basically just read it and they'll tell you. And they usually, some passives and some talents are really good, some are kind of just there. It really just depends on the character, and that's about it. At the very top here, this networking icon is your sort of extra information. It will say guard or whatever class the character is, and then it will show the name here, the artist here, and the voice lines here. You can change the language if you've downloaded the resources. You can just change the language to whatever you'd like here: Japanese, English, Chinese, and Korean. And you can just switch them freely, and this will change their voice lines because it changes the voice actor. This is their file at the right, on the right side. The file is all their information, and you will unlock the information just by leveling the character over time. You will unlock all their information, and this will go all in the file. The voice lines, you can listen to each voice line. The trust increases will give you different voice lines here, and you'll have a bunch of different voice lines you can read or listen to here in the audio records. He doesn't have one, but this would be an operator record. This is like a story tailored to that character. So this would be like a sort of, it's like a small short story, but it involves the character here in some way. He doesn't have one, but it would show up right here. Below that is a paradox simulation. This is a sort of gameplay demonstration test run of the character. You have the character, and you get to basically utilize their skills in a stage basically tailor-made for that character, and to utilize their kit and skills in a way to then get a small amount of rewards. You get a small amount of a rundum. It's like 200, so it's not a lot. Maybe like a 500, maybe a little more, but it's not that important. But that would be in the paradox simulation. I can just show. Let's see. I can just show one real quick. Let's just go with here. So here's the paradox simulations. All right. Here's a good example. Executor, alter. Okay. He has your file like normal, your audio records, but now he has a record here. Your audio records, and then he has an operator record. This is a story that you would just unlock by leveling the character for free. So this is just a nice extra story. And you can just read it and all that. The paradox simulation is here. It will be doesn't tell me how much, but you'll be basically, you choose the skill you want to bring, and then you start the simulation, and you complete the stage, and you get a small amount of red currency. And that's it. So besides that, after that, let's go over the closet hanger tab. This is the skins. You will start with an elite ones or a default outfit here. Then once you elite 2 them, you promote them to their second promotion. You will obtain the elite 2 outfit, which will be showcased here. And then if they have any skins, they will be showcased here. He has an epoch skin Vidali here. And This one is live 2D. Most are not, but typically some are. He has a live 2D skin here, which has animations and all that. If you want to zoom in on any skin, you can just hit the magnifying glass here and you can move around. You can also look at the different animations. They have an idle animation typically, which is just happens over time. And they typically have a tap animation if they have live 2D. If they don't, there will be nothing here basically. These icons won't show up at all. And then you can also have, they also sometimes come with intros, etc. So, and that is really it for the main character information. I know it was a lot, but I tried to get through most of it in a reasonable amount of time, but it is more complex than that based on classes. Classes really do, like, he's a Liberator Guard, so it's kind of confusing, especially at the beginning. Like, what does this even mean? Centurion Guard, what does Sword Master Guard even mean, etc. Oh, before I forget, let's go over modules. Some characters, he doesn't have one, but this little icon next to the character's skill here and their level, this is a module. Modules would be in this, next to the character down here, would be this module section. He doesn't have one, but this character, Deacon Brusher, does. So you would go to manage and you can swap between them. You can go back to default or you can go to module. Modules typically increase their stats in some ways, affects their trait in some way, and usually affects their talents as well. So, and they also have story here, if you'd like to read it. To unlock modules, this is a sort of later thing, but you need resources. So, let's go to somebody that I haven't unlocked their module. Piantable doesn't have one. Okay. Lapland has one. Okay, so here you go. This is what it'd look like. So before you unlock a module, you're gonna have this original, which is their just default state. You go to manage, and then you go down to their unlock. This is her module. It will be different depending on who they are. And you'd hit unlock, right? You need resources. First, to get their module, to get Lapland's module in the first place, you need to have her Elite 2 level 50. So that means E2 level 50, I have her maxed E2 level 80. You need module data blocks. Now this is more expensive if you have 6 stars. Now Lapland is a 5-star, so she's cheaper. These modules are more expensive if it's 6-star. So you need to then do they will have a requirement, a objective list that you need to do. You need to deal damage with your own Lapland, and you need to clear this main theme. Now you can hit proceed and it'll take you directly to the stage. You can just click this and you can play the stage directly without having to find it, basically. And this, once you have done both of these requirements and you are your E2 level 50 for Lapland's example, you have to have the resources. You need some sugar lumps, and you need LMD as well, and module data blocks, which you collect from the store, mission rewards sometimes, and event rewards. You'll just collect these over time. You can then buy the module stage 1, which will give you the base stat changes and a branch change. You can then preview, if you'd like, what happens if you get to the later stages. Every stage basically adds more to the module and makes it usually better in some way. So at stage 3, she gets more stats, some extra branch changes, and her talent is upgraded. The talent can inflicts a fragile effect, that is new. So different modules have different effects, and you just have to read them. But they are quite expensive, and you have to have the character relatively leveled up to acquire them. So let's see here. What's a good example here? I guess I can go Aya. So here we go. Aya Alter has a module. Her default here, and her other one. So I need to do these 2 missions. I need to complete a total of 5 battles, must deploy Aya, the Alter, and unleash a certain skill at least 1 time in each battle. I need to also clear a side story with a 3-star rating, deploy Aya, and I cannot include any other medic operators as members. And as you can tell, hers is more expensive. First, you have to have her E2 level 60. So Aya requires E2 level 60, which is Not as expensive as E2 level 90, as we went over earlier, but you have to have her leveled up and promoted. You have to have some module data blocks. You need a higher level material. D32 steel is a higher level material. It's not exactly... You need to basically combine lower level materials into higher level materials into the D32 steel. So it's not very cheap. And you need 80k LMD just for stage 1. And then you can, you only have to do missions one time. So you complete these 2 missions and then you can upgrade the entire module up to stage 3. Now after you upgrade it, you have to then upgrade it, you can upgrade it to stage 2 and then all the way to stage 3. So you get, this is for stage 1. Then you upgrade to stage 2 and then stage 3. And this will show you what is you're all gonna get at stage 3. So you can just read that. Some modules in general are better than others depending on the character. The way I see it, if you use a character a lot, then it's not gonna hurt to get their module. But some characters get more valuable modules in general than others. It basically just depends. Like if you use a character and you use them frequently, then it's not gonna hurt to get their module. But it is an investment, and they do take, if they're a 6-star, they take quite a lot of resources. So and some of them are, you need some more rare materials later as well. So let's see. So here I can upgrade, here's one I can upgrade. So I have Penance's stage 1 module, her UNYX. So I have stage 1, and then I can upgrade to stage 2 right here. You can also just immediately go, oh, I can go instantly to stage 3. So, but it still costs the same requirement as going to stage 2. It just adds all of it at the bottom here. You also need certain levels of trust with that character. You need at least 100 trust with Penance for this. You need to upgrade to stage 3 immediately. I need 8 module data blocks, 20 data supply instruments. These are from SSS and some other minor things. You can also somewhat buy them. These are what you're probably going to be running out of because stage 3 requires them every time. So you're going to need instruments, and instruments are limited, and so you have to kind of pick which modules you would like to upgrade to stage 3. Stage 1 is relatively cheap, but if you want to get to stage 3, it's going to be a little pricey. It's going to cost 60 data supplement sticks, which are also obtained through SSS, which I'll go over later. And you need some high level materials and 220,000 LMD just to get this, not including the first upgrade. Just the second and third. 200,000. You need some 4 high level bipolar nanoflakes, and you need some polymerization preparations, which are also high level materials. So of course this is cheaper if you go down to 4 stars and 5 stars, but in general picking which module and why is a good idea, but you probably won't have to worry about that for at least a while. Some modules, like I said, are more effective, but as a general rule, modules are always going to be as good as how often you use the character. Like if I never use the character, there's no point to get their module to stage 3, but if I do use the character, even if their module isn't the most high impact module, it still will always help. Just the stat increases alone help in general. So, but that's about it. Of course, do whatever you'd like and have fun. That's all that really matters. Yeah, and that is really it for the operators. So now let's go over the terminal. So this is how you're going to get to your stages. There will always be an event stage here. So right now we have the rerun of Come Catastrophes or Wakes of Vultures, and you can just click this icon and you can immediately go to the event as such. And once you click the terminal, you will be greeted with this. You have a to-do list. This is SSS, which is how you get those instruments and supply sticks I talked about a little earlier. This is another game mode. This is the most recent stage you've done. The event will showcase here. The main theme typically will show here, but I've done all of it. So you have your terminal. This is the general area. The main theme is here. The main theme is all your story. This is your beginning chapters, all your episodes of the main story of Arknights. The Intermezzis are events that have passed that are now available for playing even because the event's now in this permanent, basically, area in the Intermezzi. To unlock them, you will not have them unlocked by default. You will need to use these event crystals to unlock the side stories or Intermezzis, which will replenish, I suppose, automatically. And you have a storage limit of 2. So just basically use them and you'll just unlock these events, and you can now play through the event as normal. You can now just click through. This is the beginning stages. This event passed already, Babel, but now it's here as content that you can replay whenever you feel like. The challenge mode stages, the basically extra challenge stages, and yeah. And that's really it. Same thing for side stories. These are events that have passed, and you can just replay whenever you want. So, record restoration is once you click an event as normal, you will have this icon at the bottom left. This is rewards you get for free by doing so many stars. So there are 56 total. Well, they're not stars, but by completing the stage, you get these 3 blue icons basically. And if you've 3-starred, I'm calling them stars. So if you 3-starred it, it will show up here, and that's by just completing the stage like normal. So I guess we'll go over the screen here. You have your sanity here, and you have plans here. Your sanity will cost 18 to play the stage. The plans are free, but they are practice runs. You're basically practicing the stage before you want to do your sanity run. You only have 30 of these, but they replenish every day. You can check the map to see what the map looks like and what you're up against. The enemy information, it will be grayed out at the beginning, but once you've played the stage, you will then know what the enemies are. The potential rewards will be here. The first clear reward gives you the gold currency, and that is about it. Yeah, so for doing this has a total of 56 stars. If you're confused, hit the question mark here. Every stage you can get 3 stars on it. For a challenge stage, you'll have a challenge mode, and that will give you extra star, which will be 4 total stars. So after you've reached a certain star requirement, you can then collect these rewards here, which is usually the welfare operator and some icons and sometimes skins and stuff. So you would have to go through EX stage here. EX stages always have a challenge mode, so they'll have the normal mode here as standard, which would be your standard 3 stars if you win. Challenge mode, the condition, they will have a harder, it would be challenging. It will be in some way or form, the stage will be more challenging. And you just start it like normal. And by completing this with 3 stars, you will then get this extra white star here. Auto deployments, you cannot auto deploy on challenge mode stages. You have to play it manually, basically. Auto deploy means I can just use whatever team it will basically try to copy whatever I did to win the stage originally. So the exact deployments I did, the skill uses, it will try to copy that, and then it will try to replicate it if I auto deploy it here, using the same team and everything. And that is about all. Collect stars over time by doing these, just by playing through the game, and you will then just be able to get all these stars here and get all the rewards. Play through the stages like normal, do the EX challenge mode stages and EX stages, and you'll get all the rewards in no time. Right. And these are just the same events we went over before, but these have passed, so now they're just added as permanent content. So side stories, intermezzis, these are events that have passed and now are permanent content. So supplies, this is how we get all of the different items I went over a little earlier. So we'll go over cargo. Now these are day locked depending on the day of the week, but in general, cargo escort is this is how you get LMD for free. Now it's not the best way to get LMD. It is a way to get LMD if you really need it, but the sanity cost, which is your energy cost to LMD ratio, is not exactly that high. The yield is not very worth it, really. You don't get a lot of LMD for how much sanity it takes to farm the stage. So unless I really need LMD, I usually never do cargo escort, but if you do need to, it's not a bad idea. They will always have different stages. You'll start at level 1 here, and then you go up to 2, 3, 4, 5. Some have up to 6, but... So in general, you can auto-deploy as well. So now, like I was talking about earlier, the auto-deploy will copy what you have and basically try to replicate it. Used to, you had to do this manually, so you had to auto-deploy it, do the stage, and then click out, and then do the stage again manually each time you wanted to use your sanity. Now you can do this up to 6 times, and it will use the required amount of sanity, and you don't have to keep pressing it, which is a super nice quality of life feature they finally added, as we didn't have it before, so you just had to restart this over and over again. Now you can just do it up to 6 times, and that's very nice. This is how you get your skill summaries. So to upgrade your skills, you're gonna need skill summaries, and this is how you farm skill summaries through the aerial threat. Cargo escort is LMD. Resource search for your base, which I'll go over later. You will need these resources here. Carbon packs, carbon bricks, and sticks, I believe. But once you level up your base, you will probably never ever need to do resource search again. Tactical drill is your battle records. These are how you get your strategic records and your tactical battle records just by farming. These have 6 stages instead of 5. These will give you this is how you level up your operators. So like we talked about earlier, you need to level them up to 50. How are you going to do that? You need records and you need LMD. And you need resources to promote them later. But this is how you level them up with XP basically. Through the tactical drill. Yep. And as such, you can deploy it multiple times, and it's very nice. Besides tac drill, now we have the last one on the left is Tough Siege. Tough Siege, this is how you're gonna get a shop currency basically that you can then purchase items in the store. This is you would use your sanity to then do the stage just like, let's say, an aerial threat. It goes up to I think 5, and you just do it like a normal stage, just like any of these other stages. Use sanity and you gain these red, blue tokens or certificates to then purchase items within the store, and they're pretty useful, especially early on. So doing some of these is recommended. I'll go over the store pretty soon and I'll tell all about that. These are how you get your chip packs. The chips. So how do you promote operators? Well, we already talked a little bit about that. You can get chips. And so these will always have pairs of 2. So each one has 2 different classes. Vanguard, Supporter, Guard, Specialist, Medic, Defender, Caster, Sniper. And basically, you're going to do a sort of... You can get either one by doing the stage. And then eventually, you'll also get these chip packs. Chip packs, why do I have 42 of these? Okay, hold on. Okay, chip packs are okay, so these will be used right here. These chips will be used to promote them once to Elite 1. Then you'll need chip packs to then make a specialized item in the base to then make them Elite 2, pretty much. So you're gonna need both chip packs and chips. So yeah. And that's really all that there is to it. Go to whatever class you want to upgrade. Go to whatever one they have and farm it basically. You can also convert some of them. It's not the best ratio as you're technically losing some, but you can convert some. Like I can convert, I think, some of them into a different type. Let's say I wanted a guard one. I don't know for sure, but you know what? Where's chips? Here. I can convert the medic chips into a defender chip, but see, it takes 3 medic chips to equal only 2 defender chips, so it's not the perfect best ratio, but it is an option if you really need to get a few of these chips, and you can just do that in the workshop basically. So we'll go over that also a little later. That's all for this entire supply section. So next, regular tasks. This is how you get your weekly reset of red currency. So the pool currency when you're headhunting, this will show up here. You need to do annihilations. Annihilations are all these stages here. And you can just click this and it's sort of like a wave based thing. There will be a lot of enemies, like 300 or 400 enemies, and you need to basically deploy your team in a way that you can defeat all the enemies, and that's really about it. They'll come, the way stages work, you need to protect the blue boxes, and the enemies come from the red boxes typically. Sometimes they show up already, but in general that's kind of how it works. And then you put your towers here or operators in a certain way, and then just try to stop them from getting to the blue boxes, and that's all. When you first start, the weekly random reward will be less. You will have to do a few annihilations before obtaining the max cap, which is 1,800. I guess I haven't. Wow, it's been so long since I've done that one. Okay, you can auto deploy this. Auto deploying will do exactly like when it will try to, of course, replicate what you did, but sometimes it's not perfect and it can mess up. But used to, we had to do this every time. So every time we wanted to farm you would only get, at max, you'd only get, for 400 enemies, you'd only get 350 a random. So you'd have to do this multiple times and just reset it over and over again. And this took like 10 to 15 minutes each time. So you just had to basically just wait for it to basically play itself, because you're only getting 350 each time. So you just have to wait, and it was a huge just time waster. But now they've added these proxy cards, which are explained here at the top. These annihilation cards allow you to do, basically you get to skip it. You get to just do an auto deploy without actually having to auto play the stage. You just need to get these, you just have to do your daily missions and you will receive them. And you can just go here and you can just click it, and it will, and I don't get any rewards, so it's not allowing me, but it expects basically what I've already done, and it would expect how much random, and it basically auto does it without you actually having to sit through the stage and wait for the 400 enemies to trickle all the way, take 10 minutes to even get through here. Very nice quality of life, extremely helpful, and a great time saver. Other than that, the refund rules are how much you'll get, how many enemies you defeat, based on how many how much a random you'll get for how many enemies you defeat. The more enemies you defeat, up to 400, the more random you get. The first phase rewards are progress phase based. You just need to basically defeat the stage. Defeat a total of 400 enemies in a single operation, which is how many enemies show up in the whole stage in the first place. This is a one-time reward, and this one upgrades your weekly cap, it looks like. So Lungmen downtown will upgrade your weekly reward cap, so it'll go up from whatever the number is by how much it says, because I can't read it. But this is a one-time reward only, and that is about all. And it's always worthwhile later on to eventually just get around to doing all of them, because you'll get the one-time rewards. They all have one-time rewards. Just for beating the stage, you get free stuff. So it's always worth it later to just kind of go around and just do them as you can to just get the rewards. It also doesn't matter if you use a support unit. Feel free to use a support unit, as if you're only doing it for the first phase rewards here, if you're only doing it for the 8 progress phase rewards, it doesn't really matter if you're not going to auto deploy it. So I mean, you can, I guess, but in general, that's about it. And they'll always add new ones, so it's always worthwhile to do in general. So I can proxy this? Wow, I didn't know that. Okay. All right, moving on. That is all for Annihilation. SSS I went over a little bit before. This is how you're gonna get your data supplement sticks and data supplement instruments for modules. But we already went over how expensive modules are. The eye icon will tell you all of the information about SSS. This is basically, it's not exactly, I don't find it very fun. I just do it because I want the instruments, but it's not exactly hard. but early game I could definitely see it being a challenge. It has some weird mechanics, and while it's not exactly difficult, it does. I could see it being a challenge if somebody didn't have a bunch of leveled operators and such. So, and also instruments and sticks, like early game. I mean, I'm sure if you really wanted to complete SSS, you could complete SSS. But it's still, you have to have, even if you have the instruments, you still have to have all the other resources and the LMD, and that's pretty pricey. So I would just hold off, give it a shot whenever you feel like it, and if it's too hard, come back later, because it's not really, if you're not really doing modules, and modules are pretty, like, once you've done the characters masteries and stuff, you don't really, then you do modules. You don't typically do modules pretty early, but I'm sure you can complete it if you really, really wanted to. Long-term exploration. These are different game modes in Arknights. You have IS, Integrated Strategies, and Reclamation Algorithm. IS is a roguelite game mode, and Reclamation Algorithm is a sort of survival-based builder. I don't really like Reclamation Algorithm. I've done a little bit of it, but it's not my favorite. IS is interesting. Right now we have... Oh, that's not what I want to do. We have 5. There was one before Phantom, but now it's gone. But it was never here to begin with, but it was sort of like their first run at it. So this is IS-2, this is IS-3, IS-4, and IS-5. You can play them whenever. I can just enter whatever one I feel like and play it. So IS is what? Oh, okay, it's going over that. IS is a interesting roguelite game mode. So it is a sort of run-based game mode where, if you're confused, okay, this is news. You basically have this sort of battle pass looking track, and you just get these rewards free. There is no paid. This is not paid at all. You just play the IS and you will gain these free rewards over time. As such, because you will gain this currency here, the question mark will tell you exactly how to do all this. Basically, you can play levels with the Originite Prime if you really like. The icon next to the house will tell you all extra information as well, but in general it's just a free, just play IS and you'll gain free rewards. I'm at level 21 right now. There's only level 65, which will be, there'll be further unlocks later, which will, the extra content will come later in 26 days. So monthly contracts is just extra rewards you can do for playing IS. The archives have all the extra information. They will always have some type of button here that, because it's a roguelite, you will increase over time. You will gain stray myths, which it will tell you about here next to the house. And these allow you to get permanent buffs for the later stages. So I can get shield, I can get a little bit extra defense, little attack, little HP, other important things. And this is just little bonuses because it's a roguelite. Every time you do a run, it now becomes a little easier. The next run is now a little easier, but that can be mitigated by the fact that it also has a difficulty modifier. I've done level 1 and now I can do level 2, then I'll unlock level 3. These will give me a better score, but they give me additional effects that make the game more difficult. So I get additional effects, I get a better score at the end, a score efficiency, but it's harder in some way. So the higher you go on this list, the more score you get at the end, but the harder the challenge will be. There is a storyteller list typically of records where if you play with these characters and reach further within the floors or the IS run, you will then unlock a contract rewards here for doing this mission objective. And the contract rewards are pretty nice. You get some resources and you get some soul bookmarks, which will increase your level up here at the top. And that's really about it. You have your medal set details here, and you would just start here, unless you start with the storyteller list. So IS is basically, you're going to go into you start a new run. You pick you have a smaller squad, limited amount of people, and you're gonna basically do different floors. And then you do so many floors, and then you eventually face a final boss, which can change depending on other actions within your run. And then you also will collect these relics, which will give you increased, it will help you in some way. Let's say it will give you increased defense or attack, increased attack speed, all types of different effects based on different relics. It will help you in some way or form over time just by collecting them. There's more to it, but that's like a very simple, very quick overview of basically, and then you'll do your run and you either beat the boss or you don't beat the boss, and then it'll score you at the end and all that. Reclamation algorithm basically needs its own guide video to understand. There are guides on YouTube and they're very useful because honestly, I don't really like RA. It's just not very fun and they don't explain it very well, honestly. But that's really about it. It's not bad. Give both of these, give them a shot whenever you feel like it. They're free and they're permanent, so it's just free extra content. They don't require any sanity. They don't require zero. They require zero energy. You can just play them whenever you feel like. Free rewards. So seasonal challenge. Sometimes we have CCs, which are contingency contracts, which is like an extra hard stage typically, which then you'd have to do a higher level. You basically modify the stage to make it even harder to then get the better rewards, basically. This is the shop, but we haven't had a CC in a while. The information here is next to the house. The latest CC we had is CC2 contract, Underdawn. So basically, you do a bunch of criterias here, which you then just click through, and each of these increase the challenge. This makes the stage harder. And then you get a score at the end if you beat it, and I got SSS overall score. Now, this is technically not the second CC. We've had CCs before this. This is just like when they came back. They came back and they were like, it's Battle Plan 2, and then we had Battle Plan 1 here. But we've had CCs way before this. So this is not like the only CCs we've had. And this is CC1. And you can look at your replay highlights here and just kind of see what squad you used, etc. Yeah. And whenever one comes back, this will have more information, basically. And that is really it for the terminal. Alright. Let's go over missions. Missions is very simple. Hit I, of course, next to the house, and you can check all the information you could possibly need. Every day you'll have at the daily reset, which is a certain time depending on your time zone and all that. You'll have daily missions. You don't actually have to do, typically you don't need to do all of these, but basically all of this is typical basic daily stuff. You'll pretty much do these just by playing the game anyways. Like, they don't take much time and they're not very difficult. For weekly missions, this is as it sounds. Every week it will reset and you get these rewards on the left for doing different things on the right here. All these, they're the same as basically daily missions, except you accumulate them over the week instead of every day. Campaign missions are basically, you'll have a bunch of them here when you have campaign missions. It's just extra missions that you can complete over time in general. It usually has to do with just doing the campaign, doing the main theme, main episodes. And that's it. Daily stages, daily missions, you do daily, weekly, you do weekly campaign, and they're not very difficult. You'll do it over time. I typically get the weekly missions done on like Tuesday, and daily missions I get done every day. So like you have a very big grace period to do weekly missions, so you'll probably get it done by the week. So, and if you don't, it's not really a huge deal. You just get some extra materials and all that sort of stuff. And campaign, you'll just get these over time. You'll probably just have to look through them, but it mainly revolves around doing the campaign. So that's all for missions. Alright, let's go over base. So your base, you'll have I have a base. You can collect all your rewards here. You click this button that was just popped up and you just collect them. This is your basically AFK. Okay, next to the house icon, the eye icon. In general, okay, there will always be some type of information icon, so I'm gonna stop saying it. it will tell you basically everything. But in general, you have building mode. At the beginning of the game, you're gonna have to build all these facilities. You'll need those resources that I went over in the resource search in the supply area. Here. Resource search. You'll need these to upgrade your base. You'll need carbon packs, bricks, and sticks down here. Alright. The base is your, I don't know why it's still in beta, so this is your AFK stuff, basically. So you'll make facilities through building mode. You'll level them up. They'll be level 1 probably. You can downgrade them later. You're gonna make facilities. There are different base layouts. I personally just use this one because I've been using it for years and I just don't want to change it. I have 2 trading posts, 4 factories, and 3 power plants. There are different setups. So this is a 2, 4, 3. Some do 3s. Some, I don't know. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it. I don't really care about the base, so I typically just leave it alone because honestly, yeah, I'm lazy. So the control center is what you'll upgrade. You can put operators in it. You can have a base assistant. This is how you can get trust just for free. It will also tell you reports on all the information you can go by the last couple days. And it'll tell you all the things you've obtained through this, basically. You can put operators here. The top one will get the most trust, and the bottom ones will get less trust, but they all get trust just by... You can basically be AFK and get trust through this. So I'm at 182% now, 125%, and they just get trust. And it'll tell you in the report here how much they increased through the trust down here, just by being in the base. You put operators here. I have the R6 ops because I don't have to do this anymore. I basically just left it alone and it will basically auto work. The top is the drones. You can charge these with Sanity, and this is basically how you speed up how things work. To the right of that is your capacity based on your power plants. I'm at max capacity, but that's great because if you don't have enough capacity, you won't be able to upgrade your facilities, basically. So if I didn't have enough power plants, these 3 icons here would not be here because I couldn't upgrade them. That means the building is upgraded to level 3. You will then build dormitories, reception room, or you'll have dormitories, reception rooms, workshop, office, and training room. The dormitory is where people get tired and they have morale. So once you place people in buildings, they basically work and they have different effects, and this will deplete over time. To replenish that depletion, you then have to put them in the dormitory as such, like this. So let's see, they're working in the factory, or it will tell you who's on shift. This one, Gummy's working in the trading post, and now you can see they're pretty low. Morale is getting low, so I can just do this, throw them all in there, and then I have to replace them, and then I just do it again. I can't do that with him. He is currently working on something else. And then the easy way to do it is just do that. You could individually go through trading post and add it, or you can just go through overview right here at the top and just do this. This is what I typically do because I'm lazy. You can read their effects. Everybody has different skills for the base, but I'm lazy, so I don't read them half the time because I just don't have the time to do that. So I just kind of just do this. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I mean, yeah. If you want, you can put a lot more effort into like choosing people for certain reasons to make more money or something, but I never really cared about that, so I just left it how it is. Besides that, there are pretty good resources if you would like to sort of figure out the best people to put in certain areas, or combine, synergize, or something based on what you got. I just don't care personally enough, but there are YouTube resources and resources outside of YouTube for that specific purpose, and they do a better job explaining that than I can, because I don't personally care that much about the base. The reception room. This is how you're going to get basically clues. People can send you clues, and you can send people clues. This will give you, basically you get 7 of these, and then you can like do something, and it will give you a credit based currency. It'll give you credit for doing this. And credits are something you can just use in the store. It's not really super important. They're just extra little items, but it's not like essential. It's just for fun, basically. It's not like that impactful. The workshop, this is how you're gonna do. Now you can put people into the workshop and they'll have these materials and the morale, and you can get some extra stuff, and you can probably pick whatever synergies is gonna get you the most yield or something like that. But you can basically get extra materials instead of you can get extra materials by putting somebody here, basically. It depends on what they don't always do that, but they all have different effects typically. So the building materials, this is how you're gonna upgrade your base. You're gonna need building materials. You'll need the carbon sticks, you'll need bricks, and you'll need carbon packs. You can then make them through this system here, and it'll cost LMD as well, like so. Wow, that costs a lot. Yeah, so basically you'll probably need these specifically when you're building your base at the very beginning of the game, and then you'll probably never touch this again. Upgrade materials, these are how you combine lower level materials to get higher level materials. And this is, so these are the most expensive at the top. The gold ones have the most price, they have the most required. You need a lot of resources that are higher level to then combine even higher level resources into the highest level resources, which are these. And these are relatively expensive. I'm kind of running out of stuff because I've been doing a lot of upgrades, but in general, you'll collect these over time. So all these resources, you'll farm stages through events to then collect these resources. You'll buy them from the store. You'll get them as free rewards. There's many different ways, and you then combine them as such, like so. You just click them and you click how many of this you want. Like if I want a transmuted salt, it's going to take these 3 resources, and then I can then use those transmuted salt to make nucleic after I get more cutting fluid and more refined solvent, which I can then make refined solvent here, and I can make cutting fluid here. It's relatively self-explanatory, but it's just combining like resources to make higher level resources. Skill summaries, you can trade skill summaries in. You can trade the 3 of the lowest level skill summaries, level 1s. 3 of them equal 1 skill summary 2. 3 of them. So it's not exactly the best exchange, but you can also do the same with the skill summaries 2 to make 1 blue book instead. You'll need these to upgrade skills. Chips is how you do your chips again. You can convert chips into other chips, but it's not the best exchange. 3 medic chips equal only 2 defender chips, and so forth and so on for all the others. Furnitures, you can get rid of and scrap furnitures to equal furniture parts, but it's typically you'll probably never need to do this. You might do it once or something, but typically I always keep furniture just in case, especially if I don't have multiple, so I just keep them, and there's no real reason. Furniture parts you get so often that it's not exactly that important. Well, I guess we're on the topic of furniture. In the dormitories, furniture does matter. Specifically, you can buy in the decoration mode, there's different themes, which are just basically sets. The fashion store will allow you to buy different basically themes and for your furniture area here. I usually just go through decoration mode and go to theme and just kind of pick whatever I like. And you'll buy these with furniture parts. Ambience is really the only thing that matters. The higher ambience, the better they improve morale, basically. So if you have less ambience, the morale will not improve as quickly, basically. The more ambience you have, which is capped at 5k, it says it here, morale restored per hour, 2 plus 2. So because I have 5k ambience, I'm getting extra morale, because I'm at the cap of 5k. So typically, it's easily done just by going to theme and buying a whole set of furniture and just hitting like default and then just saving, as long as it equals 5k. So, and you can get furniture just by buying sets from that come out in the store, which I guess we'll go over a little in a second. The office is how you're gonna, in the recruitment tab, you can refresh and you have a limit. You put somebody in office and you can then refresh the recruitment, which is basically a free way to get operators, but it's typically only 3-star, 4-star, and sometimes 1-star or 2-star. 5 stars and 6 stars are pretty rare, and you don't get them very often through recruitment, but it's basically a free way to pull. The training room, this is how you upgrade people with modules, or not modules. This is how you increase the skill levels of operators. So right now I have Nymph in here, and I'm upgrading her second skill to Mastery rank 3. The 3 circles in the triangle correlate to the Mastery promotion rank. So after you've leveled skills to level 7, you will then go to the training room, and you need to place people in here to then master their skills, which will cost resources, and which will cost pretty high level resources as well. And it will just increase further. The lower level, the rarity of the operator, the cheaper it is. But so I've already upgraded her 3rd skill to max Mastery 3, and now I'm upgrading her 2nd skill to Mastery 3. And it's gonna take 6 hours. And the trainer, you'll get different operators, and they'll have different skills. And one of his talents, or one of his base skills, is the power of a banshee, which means if he's assigned, the caster and supporter operator's training speed is plus 30%, and he has a secondary effect that is not shown. Oh, I can click it. So you have trainers here, all these icons here, and different classes will have different trainers and different requirements. So let's say if I put a guard operator, Surtur will increase the speed, that their training speed increases by 60%. So very useful. It just cuts down on the time you have to wait. So Logos will increase the caster and supporter operator specialization training by plus 30%. Nymph up here is a caster, so that is the correct class. And then his secondary effect, the meaning of words, if he trains an operator for 5 hours, the next operator, that operator's next training time is minus 50%. Effect expires if either operator leaves the training room. So you have to have him and the same operator in him training them. But typically I use this on the second one. So I use somebody else to master the first skill. So I master traditionally the level 1. And then on level 2, I put Logos in here. Because then as long as he's in there 5 hours, the next one is minus 50% time. So that's why this one is only 6 hours or less. It was only like 8 or 9 when it was much higher. So he cuts that down very, very substantially if you make use of the 5-hour effect and the minus 50%. I like using it on the 3rd one because the 3rd mastery rank up has the longest time. So put him in the 2nd rank up, let him do his thing. And then during the 3rd one, it cuts it in half and further because of the 30%. So, but that's not really that important. But basically, you're just going to go through here and you're going to put somebody and you're going to train them, and you're going to have resources, and it's a bit pricey, but it makes their skills better. All right. And that's really it for the base. You're just going to do that and move stuff around, and you can basically AFK and it will collect resources over time. Trading posts. These drones can be used to quickly charge different things like this. And now I can just collect it. These drones will just replenish over time. You can also charge them automatically here with Sanity. And yeah, that's basically it. Trading posts will get you LMD. It will trade gold, which you generate through the factory. The factory, you can generate all sorts of things. Oh, while we're here. During the factory, you can generate battle records for free. You can generate precious metals like gold, and you can do chips. Dual chips are what you're going to need. You'll need these chip catalysts and the Vanguard chip packs, or any type of chip pack, to then create dual chips. Dual chips are how you're going to promote operators till E2. This is the increased level, basically. You need to promote an operator to E2, you're going to need dual chips. So that's why you're going to need these chip packs from the stages I talked about earlier. Originium materials. You can make Originium Orundum through this. It's a process where you can trade it in the trading post. You can switch this over to the mining strategy, which will pretty much, you can get a rundum through that mining strategy, but it's very, it's more later. Like, you can get a lot of these rocks and you need to basically, it takes a lot of time. Basically, you do get more pools, but it's a lot of resources just to get a few extra pools, really, from what I understand. So I just have never really done it. So if you'd like, there's probably resources out there that will explain all of this, because I have not done it, so I'm not going to talk about it probably. So, and that's really it for the base. So the recruitment tab allows you to freely recruit operators as such, and you can get random, basically, people. So now, because of the office, I have 3 refreshes, so I can refresh this, refresh it again, and then it will now over time refresh itself. Now basically you have different tags. Now I still think you still can't skip this for some reason, but these tags will show up and you can select 3 of them. The time selected will increase the rarity possibility. It will also cost you a recruitment permit, and it will cost some LMD. You can then select tags based on what you like. If I want a sniper, I click sniper, and this will hopefully, sometimes they will not work. Like if I hit sniper, and sometimes it will not, just, it will X out, and it will not, the tag will basically not apply. But otherwise I can just click like medic healing, boom. And then I can expedite it with expedited plans, and then I can just do this, and I get some, I got a 3-star, and I got a duplicate token and some certifications. I can also do the same thing with this. Different tags sometimes guarantee different operators. Like Nuker was guaranteed a 4-star. So try to look for those tags. So like none of these tags are will guarantee me a 4-star. Yeah, so as such, you just do this. This is just a free way to get, it's a good way early game just to get characters. Let's see if I can get anything. Nope. Starter are 2-star operators, I believe. I don't think I can get them. Hitting the wrong button. Yeah, it will X out the starter tag if you, because starter characters are the 2-star operators, and if you look at this, it will get rid of the 2-star possible rarity at 9 hours. You can keep the 2-star rarity, I believe, at least, yeah, 7:30. You can keep the 2-star rarity, or less. The lower the time, the less likely the tag will apply, and the less likely the operator will be a lower rarity, most likely. You can then look at the eye icon here as well and see all the information you could need. Instructions will tell you all of these things here. As such, yeah. And that's it. It's just a nice way to get free people over time. Alright, the headhunting. Headhunting is how you pull. You will need either a rundum, i.e. the red currency, or you'll need headhunting permits to then pull on banners. You can look at the details on the left side, and it will tell you all the details and all the information by scrolling down, and it will tell you everything about it. You can preview typically the operators, and you can look at all their skills, if they were max level, max trust. You can do the same thing here. Yeah, you can look at all their stats as well, and how much stats are going to increase based on trust. Yeah. So you would just pull on them as normal. The Colonel, this is a different type of banner. So you have your typical banners here, and then you have, technically, these are Colonel banners, the blue ones. The blue banners will give you, sometimes they're different. This one allows you to choose who you would like. And basically, it's the same thing, except these are characters that are no longer in the standard pool. So details here, the standard pool is all these operators here, all in this list, all here. And the kernel banner is operators that have been moved from that list from the standard banner. So this list here would not be gigantic. And all those operators have been moved now. These are the older operators that have now been moved all the way to this kernel banner, and now they're all here as well. And then they show up every once in a while here. And they will give you a different currency, which is the universal certificates, instead of traditional gold and green certs. So you can look at this again if you'd like. And that's it. You just pull on them and you roll the dice and hope that you get somebody. Every time you first do a rate up, it will guarantee in the first 10 rolls a 5-star or higher operator. And that is really about it. Banners are all different, and just pick whoever you'd like or want to pull on, whoever you actually want as a character. The store. Now, the beginning of the store is the recommendations, like before, like the stuff we saw here in the breaking news. The recommended is just typical skins, whatever's new. Originium, this is how you get your premium currency. Here's the eye icon next to the house, which will give you all your information as standard. The Originite primes are all here. You get a one-time bonus when you buy them first time. This is how you get your gold currency. Even if you can get it in game for free, like we talked about, but you can also get it through here. Packs. These are different packs you can buy. It costs money, and they will give you different items. They'll tell you what they'll give you. The monthly pass is very good if you want to play the game and support it and consistently play. You can't go wrong with the monthly card. It will give you some gold currency, and it will give you a random every day and some sanity, a sanity booster, which allows you to do stages more often, which gives you more farming materials, etc. The other stuff is all just sort of free. You can change your name through the ID info. You can get some starter packs as well. The $1 starter pack is pretty good. Myrtle is one of the highly recommended. She is one of the best vanguards in the game. So, outfit store, you can preview skins, and you can buy skins with your gold currency. You can buy skins here. You can check the fashion gallery here as well. This will change depending on the skins. Certificates, depending on the rules, are all here with question mark, and the eye is here for the store. The rules: by getting duplicates, you will gain green certifications and gold. Gold certifications go to the green ones, go to the green shop commendations. Gold certs go to the distinctions. Universal go to the kernel banner that we talked about earlier. If you pull on the kernel banner and you get duplicates and stuff, they will give you universal certificates. Purchase certificates are how you farm these back at that stage, Tough Siege, in the supplies. It's the red sort of currency here. This is how you get information fragments. Information fragments are how you reconstruct the past events. This is how you get this is the free currency that you can just get. And this is how you unlock all those stories back and we talked about back here. In the side stories. No. We have the same thing. Okay, well, the Tough Siege is here. The red certifications. Oh, actually, it's in the archives here. In intelligence, in special operations, in special ops, archives, intelligence, special operations, record restoration. You go here and you'll use that currency that I just showed you to then unlock these. These items will be unlocked. All these stories will be locked. To unlock them, you can get this currency from the certificates, the information fragments, to then unlock them. And that's it. They take one each story. You can buy a bunch of these items here as well in the certificate exchange, which you just can farm. You can also get information fragments through events for free sometimes, but in general, if you need them, they're right here. The parametric models are currency you get, which will tell you right here about during a limited banner, you will obtain headhunting data contracts for each role you perform, and you earn data contracts from doing 10 role headhunting. And you can use data contracts in the shop to exchange from a selection of operators. If you earn any headhunting data contracts during the limited headhunting banner, they will expire afterwards. One of them equals 6 parametric models, and parametric, you can buy all these different resources here. If you need resources, you can just use parametric and just buy them all here. Intelligence certifications are from events. These are for event reruns, and they will correspond to the different events. These certifications, if you get, let's say, right now we have a rerun again, we have the certifications. If you get any of the top items right here, any of these items at the top, and you have then you get a duplicate, it will automatically convert these items that you pick up into certifications. So, as such, because I already had all these, I already own them, I converted all of them into purple certifications because I had all these items. Pretty simple. And then you can now use those, exchange those purple certifications for items in the shop here. It will tell you all the information here as well. Besides that, right now Moinar is in the shop. I bought him with gold certifications, distinctions, just because. Also, so here you go, token exchange. These tokens, once you have duplicates, they will allow you to exchange for certifications, etc. And you'll get this many. I get extra, and then boom, I just do this, and I get certifications. The rules will be all here as well. Same thing, commendations. It gave me both certifications and commendations, gold and green. Green you use in this shop here. You can get some headhuntings, and this refreshes every month. And you can buy all these resources in here as you please. Actually, that reminds me, I need to buy that. I have so many of them. Unless you really want them, there's no real reason to buy the recruitment vouchers, but they are an option if you like. I typically just save them for whatever resources I am running low on, which I'm running low on RMA, so. Other than that, you can technically go, if you bought every single thing in the second store, so if I bought all of these items, so you buy all the items in the first phase, and then if you buy all the second items in this phase, you can go to the third phase, and you can get a rundum. This is not the best ratio, but it is an option, but there's not really, haven't done it, there's not really a point, so it's not a really that great of an exchange rate. For distinctions, there's a bunch of items in here, like skins and stuff. Moinar is in the shop right now, so Moinar is highly recommended if you don't have him, because he's really, really good. I bought Blemishine because I chose, that's the kernel operator. And then you can always get the 10 roll, you can always get headhunting permits. Now, it first starts at like 1, and then you get like 2, and then 3, and then you get 2 times, and then you get like a times 10, and then you get then 2, and then a 2 times 10. So you get total of like 38 pools if you get all of them, but they kind of phase up. So you need a total of like 255 gold certs to completely buy this whole 38 pools, I believe. Anything else? I don't recommend ever spending gold certs on expedited plans. Expedited plans are so common that you don't need them, especially not for gold certs. Data blocks, I don't recommend that either. You can get data blocks for free through the purchase certificates through the red currency here. Will refresh every 30 days, and you can get these through rewards in general, so I don't recommend buying these. These are also pretty mediocre. The tokens, you still need 4 of them to equal 1 upgrade, and resources, I also don't recommend using gold certs on resources. I typically only use it on pools. If you need the 5-star character, it's pretty worthwhile. Only use the 180 if you really, really want the character and you're guaranteed that character. And the kernel banners are up to you. I don't really pull on kernel banners, but they are not horrible. The 61 for 10 is not terrible. And that is really about it. And the skins and stuff you can get if you like. That's about it. Resources. Credit store. Where was the other store? It's been so long. Right. In the certificate shop, I highly recommend doing this red currency here. The Tough Siege, which I talked about earlier. Ethan's a good operator. Honeyberry's a good operator. And you can just get these for free. These characters you can just obtain over time just for free, just by doing this free currency through the red Tough Siege. And you'll always need chip catalysts, so having chip catalysts can't hurt as well. You can get some rare tokens here. These 6-star tokens. You can only get 4, but still, that's one potential upgrade potentially. You can get information fragments, like to unlock more events, etc. The furniture store, you'll get furniture parts over time, and you can just buy sets here, like Express Chain Pizzeria, and it has 5k ambience, and you can just buy all of it here. You can also pay with Originite Prime. I highly recommend do not pay with Originite Prime. Just pay with parts. Parts, you'll have so many. I have 40k, and I still have basically so many of them at this point that I don't even need them. But you just buy them here, and it'll give you all the pieces here. Some pieces will be through the events only, so some parts of furniture will only be obtained through the event, and you're just paying for the extra parts that are not obtained. So this is only 2,000 furniture parts, 2,415. Highly recommend do not pay with Originite Prime. Pay with parts. It's just you don't. There's no point to pay with Originite Prime. There's a bunch of these. They'll come out with new ones depending on the event. Right now we have the Black Steel Worldwide Safe House, but I've already bought it. Yeah, typically I just buy them whenever the event comes out, but buy whichever one you think looks cool. I mean, they don't really matter. They're just for like flavor. Credit store every day for doing clue exchange back in the base. In the reception room, doing a clue exchange by getting clues over time and collecting them. You can collect them every day and over time. Some people will send you them as well. By doing that, you can then get credit. Credit is very minor here. It will give you, some things will be on sale, and then you just use your credits. You have a limit of 300. So the daily credit limit is 300. If you have over 300, it's good to just spend them like such. Like so. If you're over 300, anything will just expire. So just try to stay, it's not really that important, but typically just visit here, you get some free items, and that's about it. Operator progress, the more credits you spend, you get an operator and their potentials. That's a 4-star, I think it's Durnar. She's pretty okay. So it's for free basically. So just come here, you get some free items, and that's about it. And that's really all for the store. I've already gone over everything. Depot is your inventory. It has all your items. Consumables are here. You can click on them and you can use them. That's why, you know, I can use these items here. Basic items are typical, well, basic items, your gold and your pure gold, some certifications, your permits, your LMD, your rundum, etc. All that will go in basic. Growth materials is all your upgrade materials, your skill summaries, your battle records, and your resources to level people up, your module resources to level up modules, everything, your chips, your duplicate tokens, all that will go in growth materials. It's all the RPG like level up mechanics. And I just typically leave it on all, and that's all the depot is. So I am now going to just demonstrate a quick gameplay sort of thing. So alright, let's just kind of demonstrate how a stage would work. So you go into enemy info and you see all the enemies. You can click on them and see what they do. You go into map and you can see what the map stage looks like. Enemies will come from the red, I need to protect blue. Then you set up your operators. So in short, we'll just set this up real quick. And do like this. And that should be good. I think I can cover every area. And then we'll bring her, I suppose, just in case. Oh, Aya might be important. Actually. Alright. Got this set up. Alright, anything else I need? Alright, let's go. This will be just a demonstration real quick of a stage. So you can switch on 1x speed or 2x. Okay, and as such. Yep. So enemies come from this side, and enemies gonna come from this side later. I'm being careful here. I'm slowing down the speed so I can time this correctly. Okay. Right. 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 So then you just kind of use people's skills, etc. Like so. Alright. So now basically everybody has a skill, right? And then auto, so I just have, and then once this icon shows up, I can use their skills, so. Okay, boss is moving now. Boss is now dead. Alright, stage is basically over. Now I can talk a little bit. So now I just use, basically I use a combination of different operators to basically defeat the boss. And that's basically all you do. You know, you just plan your operators and upgrade them with, and then now you have to wait. Now I have to wait for their skills to recharge because they are auto recoveries, etc. That's really about it, and that's all you really do. Different operators do different things. Some do things better, some do things a little differently. It's all a little different. Yep. So I guess this video has been going on for a very long time. I hope you all enjoyed, and I guess I will hopefully see you all in the next video. Yeah. Now I'm just gonna, I guess we'll just... Alright. So, I hope I helped in any way. Please skip around because there's too many. This video is long, so skip around and see what part you're interested in. And I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good night.